Welcome all to the course of Data Communication Networking, BE 7th semester Electronics and Communication Engineering. We are discussing a data link layer, a topic we have discussed up to now, a data link control. It is a fourth part of our data link control topic. We have seen different protocols, just like a noiseless channel have a simplest and stop and wait protocol, and for the noisy channel we have seen stop and wait ARQ and go back and ARQ. So before going for a selective repeat request, let's have one comparison between go back and stop and wait ARQ. So you can find that there is a similarity between go back and ARQ and stop and wait ARQ. We can say that the stop and wait ARQ protocol is actually a go back and ARQ in which there are only two sequence numbers and the send window size is 1. In other words, m is equal to 1, then the equation is 2 raised to m minus 1 is equal to 1. In go back and ARQ, we said that the additional is modulo 2 raised to m. In the stop and wait ARQ, it is a 2, which is the same as 2 raised to m when m is equal to 1. So we can say that a stop and wait ARQ is a special case of go back and ARQ in which the size of the send window is 1. Fine. So it is a just brief comparison of our previous two protocols, go back and stop and wait ARQ. Let's go for a selective repeat request protocol. In a go back and ARQ, it simplifies the process at the receiving side. The receiver keeps the track of only one variable. There is no need to buffer or out of the order frames. They are simply discarded. However, this protocol is very inefficient in a noisy link. In a noisy link, a frame has a higher priority of a damage, which means that the resending of the multiple frames. This resending uses up the bandwidth and slow down the transmission. For the noisy links, there is another mechanism that does not resend an n frames when just one frame is damaged. Only the damaged frame is resent. This mechanism is called as a selective repeat request as our this protocol. It is a more efficient for the noisy links, but the processing at the receiving end is more complex. So, the first point or our first topic in this protocol is a window. The selective repeat request protocol also uses the two windows over here, right? A send window and the receiving window. However, there are difference between the windows in the protocols and the one in the go back and ARQ. First, the size of the send window is much smaller. It is 2 raised to m minus 1. In the previous one, 2 raised to m minus 1. Over here, the power of 2, m minus 1. The reason for this we will discuss later. Second, the receiver window is the same size as the send window. Means sending and the receiving window both have a same size. The send window maximum size can be 2 raised to m minus 1. For example, if m is equal to 4, the sequence number go from 0 to 15. Fine? But the size of the window is just 8. Where in our go back and protocol, there is a size is 15. So there is a smaller size. The smaller window size means less efficiency in failing the pipe. But the fact that there is a fewer duplicate frames can compensate for this. The protocol use the same variable as our discussed in our go back and ARQ. We saw the selective repeat send window in this figure to emphasize the size. Compare it with our previous one. So let's compare our previous figure number 12. Where is it? 12? Okay. So you can compare this figure to over here. The size of window is 2 raised to m minus 1, and in our figure the size is reduced. Okay, so it is clearly seen. In this figure, it is our frames sent but not acknowledgement. Frames can be sent, fine. Over here, the acknowledgement is received. I think all of the parameter you have already know, so there is no discussion yet to be discussed. Okay. What is a receiving window? Our receiver window is a selective repeat, is totally different from our one in a go back and ARQ. First, the size of the receiver window is same as the size of the send window as 2 raised to m minus 1. The selective repeat protocol allows as many frames as size of the receiver window to arrive out of the order and be kept until there is a set of in order frames to be delivered to the network layer. Fine. Means a frame can be received and kept in this state when a particular out of order will receive the remaining order. Because the size of the send window and the receiving window are the same, all the frames in the send frame can arrive out of the order and to be sorted until they be delivered. We need, however, mention that the receiver never delivers the packet out of the order to the network layer. Means it will deliver sequentially a particular frame when all the out of the order frames received. Our figure shows the receiver window in this protocol. These slots inside the windows are colored, defines the frames that have arrived out of the order and are waiting for the another neighbors to arrive before delivery to the network layer. Fine. So it is very easy to understand by this color method. Okay. So it is a window size. Now go for a designing. Yes. It is a design of our selective repeat request ARQ. The design in this case is to the same extent similar to the we have discussed in the go back and, but it is a more complicated, which is shown in this figure. All the parameters you know, SF, SN and RN. The main thing is over here in the last go back and ARQ only one size is there. Over here it is the same size as our sending window. Means let's take an example of 4 frames in a one window. There is a 4 frames in our receiving window. Fine. One is received, it is out of order, then it is waiting for a next next frame to come. Okay, so it is acknowledgement. Multiple frames can be transmitted and multiple acknowledgement can be received at the same time. So it is a full duplex communication. It is a timeout, as you know, algorithm, request for the network layer and notification for the physical layer. It is all parameter you know very well. Okay. The main thing is that the receiving window size. In the last only one is there. Over here both are same. We can now show why the size of the sender and the receiver window must be the most 1/2 of 2 raised to m. For example, we choose m is equal to 2, which means that the size of the window is 2 raised to m by 2. For 2, figure shows the compare a window size of the 2 with a window of size 3. Over here the window size is 2 raised to m minus 1, means our window size is 2, or over here the window size is greater than 2 raised to m minus 1 means 3. Over here the highlighted area is there. So it is a 2 size window, it is a 3 size window. Okay. If the size of the window is 2, all acknowledgements are lost. Over here our size of the window is 2, our all acknowledgements are lost. The timer for the frame 0 expires and frame 0 is reset. However, the window of the receiver is now expecting the frame 2, not the frame 0. So this duplicate frame is correctly discarded. When the size of the window is 3, all the acknowledgements are lost. The sender sends the duplicate frame to 0. However, this time of the window of the receiver exports to the receiver of the frame 0. 0 is a part of a window. Fine. Over here, it is 0 is a part of the window. So it accepts the frame 0, not the duplicate 1. But as the first frame is to the next cycle. Okay. Right now, it is highlighted over here. The frame received at the receiver, but acknowledgement is discarded or dropped or missing. Then it slides to the right. Then 3 window is there, 3 sizes there. Then slide. Okay. So by comparing this, you can say that by completing the particular timeout, it receives all the frames. Fine. Because the size of the window is 3. We can say that in the selective repeat request, the size of the sender and the receiver window must be the most 1/2 of 2 raised to m. Fine. We have proved the same with this figure. So what are the algorithms at our sending and receiving side? So first we discuss the algorithm at our sender side. The handling of the request event is similar to the previous protocol. Expect that the one timer is started at each timer sent. Okay. The arrival event is a more complicated here. The acknowledgement and NIK frame may arrive. If a valid NIK frame arrives, we just resend the corresponding frame. If the valid ACK arrives, we use the loop to purge the buffers, stop the corresponding time, and move to the left wall of the window. The timeout event is simpler here. Only a frame which is times is resent. Okay, so it is algorithm. Algorithm for our receiver side. Here we need a more initialization. In order not to overwhelm the other side with a NAC, we use a variable next state. Okay, next state. To know when we need to send the SK, we use a variable called ECNEED. Okay, ECNEED. Both of these are initialized for the fails. We also use the set of variables to mark the slot in the receiver window once the corresponding frame has arrived and it is stored. If we receive the corrupted frame and NAC is not yet been sent, we send NAC to tell the other side of the we have not received the frame we expected. Okay. If the frame is not corrupted and the sequence number is in the window, we store the frame and frame are slot. If continuous frames starting from Rn have been marked, we deliver the data to the network layer and slide the window that is shown in this figure. Means if we received the data up to this and acknowledged this, then we slide our window to this position. Okay, before the delivery, after the delivery. So acknowledgement 3 is sent. So our window is slightly moved in the right direction and our left hand will be 3. Let's take an example. To understand this example, you have to see this figure. Okay. This example is similar to the example number 3 we have discussed in the last session, where the frame 1 is lost. Okay. We saw how a selective repeat request, in this case our figure shows the situation. One main difference is the number of timers. Okay, number of timers are there, different timers are there. Here each frame has sent and resent needs a timer, which means that the timer needs to be numbered 0, 1, 2, 3. The timer for the frame 0 starts at the time first request, but stops when an ACK is this frame arrives. Fine. So our time is started and when one SEK is arrives. The timer of the frame 1 starts when the second request restarts the when NAK arrives. Okay. And finally stops when then SEK arrives. Over here it will end when then our SEK arrives. The other two timers start when a corresponding frames are sent and stop when a last arrival of our event. Okay. The acknowledge 4 is for our 1, 2 and 3 frames. At the receiver side, we need to distinguish between the acceptance of the frame and its delivery to the network layer. At the second arrival, the frame 2 arrives and stored and marked as our colored form. But it cannot be delivered because one frame is missing. At the next arrival, the frame 3 arrives and it marks and stored, but still none of the frames can be delivered. Only at least the last arrival, when a final copy of the frame 1 arrives, can frame 1, 2 and 3 delivered to the network layer. There are two conditions for the delivery of the frames to the network layer. First, a set of the consecutive frames must be arrived. Second, a set starts from the beginning of the window. Fine? Beginning of the window. After the first arrival, there was only one frame and it started from the beginning of the window. After the last arrival, there are 3 frames and our first one starts from the beginning of the window. Fine? First one starts from the beginning. Another important point is that the NAK is sent after the second arrival, but not after the third, although both situations look the same. The reason is that the protocol does not want to crowd the network with the unnecessary NAK and unnecessary result frames. The second NAK would still be a NAK 1 to inform the sender and resend the frame 1 again. This has already been done. The first NAK is sent, remembered using the NAK sent variable, and is not sent again until the frame slides. A NAK is sent once for the each window position and defines the first slot of the window. Okay. The next point is about the SEKs. Notice that only 2 SEKs are sent, 1 and 2. The first one acknowledges only the first frame and the second one acknowledges the third frame or 3 frames. In the selective repeat protocol, an SEK sent when our data are delivered to the network layer. If the data belonging to the n frames are delivered to the one slot, only one SEK is sent to for the all of them. Means reduce the number of SEK sending in our network. Means the traffic will be less. Okay. So it is the design of our or an example of our selective repeat request ARQ. Yes, piggybacking, a good point to be discussed over here. Piggybacking. So what is a piggybacking? Let's discuss. The 3 protocols we have discussed in this session all are unidirectional. Data frames flow from the receiver transmitter to the receiver only in one direction. Although the control information such as SEK or NAK frames can travel in other direction, in the real life the data frames are normally flowing in both direction, from the node A to B or B to A. This means that the control information also needs to flow in the both direction. A technique called a piggybacking is used to improve the efficiency of the bidirectional protocols. When a frame is carrying a data from A to B, it can also carry the control information about arrival or loss of the frame from B. When frame is carrying the data from B to A, it also carries the control information about the arrived frames from A. Means you understand that each direction should contain the data as well as control information in the same frame. Means A frame contains acknowledgement number also and a sequence number or a in order frame also. Fine. We saw the design of the go back and ARQ using the piggybacking in this figure. Note that each node now has a two windows, one send window and one receive window, a one receive window and one send window, a one receive window, one send window. Okay. Both also need to use a timer. The timer will be at both sides. Both are involved in the three types of event: request, arrival and timeout. Request, arrival and timeout. However, the arrival event here is a complicated. When a frame arrives, the site needs to be handled a control information as well as a frame itself. Fine. Both of these concerns must be taken care if a one event at the arrival event. The request event uses only the send window at each side. The arrival event needs to be used at the both windows. The important point about the piggybacking is that the both sides must be used the same algorithm. This algorithm is complicated because it needs to combine the two arrival events into one. Fine. So we complete this go back and ARQ protocol with the help of the piggybacking design for the both directional communication. Let's go for another point, SDLC. A high level data control called as a high level data link control. It is a bit oriented protocol for the communication over the point to point and multi-point links. It implements an ARQ mechanism as we discussed in this chapter. Fine. A following topic to be discussed in this topic, that the configuration and the transfer modes, frames and control field. Starting with configuration and transfer modes. Our SDLC provides the two common transfer modes that can be used in the different configuration. First is a normal response mode called as an NRM. So correct this, it is a NRM, and asynchronous balance mode or ABM. First, a normal response mode. In the normal response mode, the station configuration is unbalanced. We have one primary station and the multiple secondary station. A primary station can be send commands and the secondary station can only respond. Okay, it will command and it will respond. It will command, it will respond. It is a point to point, it is multi-point. Our NRM is used for the both point to point and multi-point links, as we can see in this figure. Second is ABM or asynchronous balance mode. In an asynchronous balance mode, the configuration is balanced. The link is point to point and each station can function as the primary and secondary, acting as a peers, which is shown in our figure. Command and response and command and response. Fine. It is a common mode today. Generally we use this same mode. Frames. Next point is in the SDLC is frames. To provide the flexibilities necessary to support all the options possible in the modes and the configuration just described, as SDLC defines three types of frames: I, S and U. I means information, S means supervisory, U means unnumbered. Each type of the frame serves as an envelope of the transmission of the data type of the message. I frames are used to transfer the user data and control information relating to the user's data. just like our piggybacking. S frame are used only to transport the control information, and U frames are reserved for the system management. Information carried by the U frames is intended for the managing the link itself. Okay, so what is the frame format of the SDLC? So our figure shows that each frame in SDLC may contain up to 6 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fine. A beginning field is a flag, an address bit, a control field, an information field, a frame check sequence FCS, and the ending flag field. Okay, in the multiple frame transmission, the ending flag is of one frame can serve as the beginning of the flag of the next frame. Fine. So let's discuss about the fields and its usages. Flag field. The flag field of the SDLC frame is an 8-bit sequence with a bit pattern of 0, 111, 1110 that identifies both the beginning and the end of the frame and serve as a synchronization pattern for the receiver. Address field. The second field of SDLC frame contains the address of the secondary station. If a primary station created the frame, it contains a to address. If a secondary creates the frame, it contains a from address. As we return the address in our envelope, an address field can 1 byte or the several bytes long depending on the needs of the network. 1 byte can be identified up to 128 station, 1 bit used for another purpose. A larger networks requires the multiple byte addressing field. If the address field is only 1 byte, the last bit is always 1. If the address is more than 1 byte, all bytes, but the last one will be end with 0. Only the last will end with 1. Ending each intermediate byte with 0 indicates to the receiver that there are more address types to come. Means there is not the end of the frame. Control field. The control field is a 1 or 2 byte segment for the frame to be used for the flow and the error control. The interpretation of the bit in the field depends on the frame type. We discuss this field later and describe the format for the each frame type. Information field. The information field contains the user data from the network layer or the management information. Its length can vary from one network to the another network. FCS field. The frame check sequence, called as a FCS, is the SDLC error detection field. It can contain either a 2 or the 4 byte ITUT CRC standards. A control field in our SDLC. The control field determines the type of the frames and defines its functionality. So let us discuss the format of this field in the greater detail. The format is specific for the type of the frame, as we can see in this figure. I, S and U. Each have a different format. Fine. Okay, control field for a iframe. A iframe are designed to carry user data from the network layer. In addition, they can influence the flow and error control information, just like our piggybacking. The subfield of the control field are used to define this function. The first bit defines the type. If the first bit of the control field is 0, means that the frame is a iframe. The next 3 bits called as a NS defines the sequence number of the frame. Note that with the 3 bits we can define a sequence number between 0 to 7, but in the extension format, in which the control field is 2 byte, the field is larger. The last three field called as an NR corresponding to the acknowledgement number when piggybacking is used. The single bit between the NS and NR is called as a PF bit. The PF field is a single bit with a dual purpose. If it means that the only when it is set is bit is equal to 0 and can mean that the pole or final. It means a pole when a frame is sent by the primary station to the secondary station when an address field contains the address of the receiver. It means final when the frame is sent by the secondary to the primary when an address field contains the address to the sender. Okay. So let's discuss S frame. A supervisory frames are used for the flow and the error control when a piggybacking is either impossible or inappropriate. For example, when a station either has no data of its own to send or needs to send a command or respond another than acknowledgement. And S frame do not have an information field. If the first two bit is 10, then we can say that it means a S frame. The last three bit called as a NR corresponding to the acknowledgement number or the negative acknowledgement number NAK or SEK depending on the type of the S frame. The two bits called code, it is used to define the type of the S frame itself. With the 2 bits we can have 4 types of S frame as discussed. First is RR, RNR, REI or SREG. So there are 4 types. Last, a control field for a U frames. Unnumbered frames are used to exchange the session management and the control information between the connected devices. Unlike our S frames, U frames contains the information field, but one used for the system management information, not the user data. As with S frames, however, much of the information carried by the U frame is contained in the code included in the control field. U frames coded are divided into the 2 sections, a 2-bit prefix before the PF and a 3-bit suffix after the PF. Together these 2 segments or a 5-bit can be used to create up to 32 different types of U frames. Some of the more common types are shown in this table. Okay, so this is a U frame and its response. Okay. Okay. So we conclude our session over here. It is a question for you. Write down in your notebook and send back it to me as per the given direction. We continue our session with the same data link control part 5 in the next session. Thank you.